Welcome to everyone to today's session, which is ICANN80 Ghana Readout. It is said, until the lion tells its story, the hunter will always be the hero. Until the lion tells the story, the hunter will always be the hero. In this regard, we as the Ghanaian community that participated in the ICANN80 meeting, we are here to share our own input and share our own story and tell our own story on our engagement in the ICANN meeting. This section is being it's a joint program, and we all know what is being done jointly is always done better than when it is done by just one person. So the section is being done jointly by the Ghana Domain Name Registry, as Yakumi has already mentioned, by the E-Governance and Internet Governance Foundation for Africa, the Association of African Universities, and the Internet Society Ghana chapter. And today we'll be joined by very experienced people who have joined the ICANN meeting and attended in person in various capacities to give us their input on what they have gone to do in the ICANN meeting that was held in Rwanda. So we'll meet our speakers. The first speaker is Madam Maud. Madam Maud, kindly introduce yourself in 30 seconds.
My name is Adgeley Ashong Elliot. I'm Vice President of Internet Society Ghana chapter and an ICANN80 fellow. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Once a fellow, always a fellow. Number 2, Sagoe, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Raymond. My name is Benedict Sagoe, and I work with Ghana Domain Name Registry as a systems administrator, and I also happen to be part of the Ghana IGF steering committee. So that's all that I can say about myself for now. Thank you.
Thank you, big man. Emmanuel, please introduce.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Emmanuel Virtuous Mensah from Valley University and the NextGen ICANN20 within ICANN80. Who presented in ICANN80.
Okay, thank you very much. Frank.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Anati, and I'm an ICANN 73 fellow, Ghana fellow also, and also an IT management service. So that's all.
Thank you very much, Frank. Sule.
Hello, good evening to everyone. My name is Abdul Manaf Sulemana. I work at the Association of African Universities as an IT officer. I'm pleased to be here and looking forward to a wonderful discussion.
Thank you, Sule. Then Stephen.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Stephen Dati, ICANN80 fellow. My passion lies in open advocacy and environmental sustainability. And I'm also a member of I'm a fellow of Ghana School of Internet Governance, that's Ghana SIG, and a member of ISOC Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have very solid representation here that will be helping us with what went on during the ICANN80. So let's look briefly at the roles of Ghanaians in ICANN and the Ghanaian community in ICANN briefly. The ICANN meetings are held 3 times in a year, and Ghana was fortunate to have had its first ICANN meeting and the only one so far held in the year 2002. That is several years ago, and I'm sure before some of us were even born. So it was held at the La Palm Hotel from 10th to 14th, and it's a March meeting. And this tells us that we have a lot to do as a Ghanaian community to bring the next ICANN meeting to Ghana. And we were also privileged to have the Africa Engagement Forum that was held just last year. And it brought people from all over Africa to have engagement. And this was organized by ICANN, mainly the GSC, that is the Global Engagement Team from Africa. So these are the two notable ICANN meetings that were held here in Ghana. Then let's look at some of the notable people that we have had in ICANN and the roles that they have played. I'm sure this face is not any new face to anybody. Professor Nee Kweno has been an ICANN board member, and I think the only ICANN board member Ghana has produced so far. And it is a clarion call on us to make sure we engage and get the experience so that we can produce more ICANN board members. And briefly, if you want to be an ICANN board member, you can join through the nomination committee when the application opens, and it opens every year. Sometimes it's limited to a region. So depending on the region you are coming from, you'll be able to apply to become a board member. And it comes with a good experience that everybody will enjoy. So let's look out for this. Ghana is really lacking in this regard. The second person that we can celebrate is Wisdom Donko, who has been a GNSO counselor for 2 terms. His term is ending at the end of the AGM. After that, he also won an election as the global NCUC chair. So these 2 people are the people that we can celebrate. And myself, I was part of the at-large, the ALAT, that is the at-large advisory committee for 1 term, and I ended my term last year. So these are the 3 notable people that we can talk about when we speak of ICANN in Ghana. Now go to the various speakers so that we start talking about what went on during ICANN 80. And whilst they are speaking, please note down your questions that you want to ask them. If you have any, ask them, prepare and ask them. And we'll also be opening the room for those who joined virtually, those who joined the ICANN meeting virtually, to also share their experience. Before that, is Yahweh in from ICANN? Okay, so when he joins later, he'll be presenting briefly on what ICANN does and what we need to know. So welcome to the various panels, Maud, Stephen, Frank, Emmanuel, and Benedict. Welcome to the section.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so to start with, what is really ICANN? What really is ICANN that we've been hearing a lot about? ICANN. What is ICANN? Let's start with Madam Maud.
Thank you very much. ICANN is a multi-stakeholder organization whose interest is to make sure that we have the right people on the internet. You know, they deal with domain names, they deal with numbers, they assign names and numbers, and they are extremely careful about how that is done. And even in doing all that, they make sure that everybody is involved. And that is one thing about ICANN that I know, and that excites me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Frank, Madam Maud says they deal with domain names and numbers. What are these? Is it the 1, 2, 3 that we all know?
Okay. Yeah, the numbers are the 1, 2, 3 that we all know. So the numbers are actually IP addresses. So that's the Internet Protocol address. And it's simply it's an address that's given to you when you're on the internet. So each region has a regional body that oversees the IP addresses. And in Africa, we have AFRENIC.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Virtuous, I think
Hello. Thank you.
our big men are speaking big grammar. What if you want to talk about ICANN to a layperson? What is ICANN that you can explain to a layperson?
So,
Virtuous.
so to a layman, you say ICANN is a multi-stakeholder group that helps people locate their domains on the internet. As Mr. Frank said, their addresses where they are actually located. That's what ICANN stands for. They help people locating their addresses on the internet.
Okay. And Stephen, we are talking of addresses, and in Ghana, we all know address is PO Box. What really is this address that you are talking about?
Okay, so the address, you're looking at the internet protocol, that's the IP address. So with this internet protocol, there are numbers just that are assigned to each device that have access to the internet. But because these numbers, you can't keep it off head, then a domain name is used instead of the numbers. So I can come up with policies and it comes up with ways that we can manage those names so that two IP addresses will not be having the same name, and there will be each IP address will be assigned a new domain name. It also helps with emails. So you have an email. That email that you have is connected to a domain name. So I can regulate all those stuff. It also helps with the security, see to it that these resources are secure and it is accessible to all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sule, what do you have to add to the meaning of ICANN and what they do?
So just to expand that, the ICANN stands for Internet Cooperation for Assigned Names and Numbers, and they basically ensure that the stable and secure operation of systems on the internet, which are critical for the function of the internet. Basically, ICANN is involved with unique identifiers. They ensure that the domain names are stable and then they are secure.
Okay, thank you. So, Benedict, you are with the Ghana Domain Name Registry. What really is ICANN that we can all relate to? Break it down for us.
Yeah, I believe like all the people who on this call have been able to explain what ICANN80 and then what it stands for. But the main element or the main mission is to enable interoperability of the internet. When I say interoperability, basically what I'm trying to say is for us in Ghana to be able to access the internet resources or other resources from other countries or the network of other regions or other areas. And the major backbone of this environment is the domain names, because as we know, the IP addresses are somehow difficult to remember offhand, but the domain names, because they are just like the names that we use on daily basis, they are easy to basically remember and then share with the community, share with anybody, and then also be able to key and then search for any other resources that we want. So ICANN's main objective or mission is to ensure that there's security, there's stability, and also there's interoperability. And to maintain this one, then they have to be a non-governmental body that's able to bring the various stakeholders together to agree on a common policies that they'll be able to use to maintain the internet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benedict. So we are talking of ICANN80. So the ICANN80, when was it held? And to all of you, was that your first ICANN meeting? So let's start with Benedict, since you are the last. Was that your first ICANN meeting, the ICANN80?
Yeah, I would say physical meeting. Yes, this was my first ICANN meeting that I attended in June at Rwanda. But
okay.
I've attended a number of meetings. I know the African Engagement meeting, which was held in Ghana last year. I was also there. But all this while, when I attend ICANN meeting, my major focus is on the DNS security and then the DNS workshops. So I don't basically engage in other policy discussions and other constituencies that we have in ICANN. I always go in for the workshops and the DNS related activities. By this year, I was privileged to attend the CCNSO meetings and then GAC meetings. Even though as we speak, Ghana is not a member of the CCNSO. because of other reasons that we along the call we'll be able to discuss or bring to light. So I attended as a guest at the CCNS meeting, so more of observing the proceedings, also to prepare us as a domain name registry, that is Ghana domain name, to understand that.
Attending, how was since this was your first attending, how was it for you? How was the environment and the people around? How was it for you?
It was an eye-opener because you get to network with people, you get to see people who share similar opinion, and there are people with divergent opinions. And you meet people, I'll say that it's very educative. If I should put into one word, I would say it was very educative to be there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Virtuous, ICANN80, was that your first, and how was it for you?
So it was a privilege to be among over 200 applicants and being selected as a gen. The experience was massive, to say. It was overwhelming because.
But was that your first meeting?
Yes, please. It was my first meeting.
Okay.
As a gen, and yeah.
And when you went, how was it like? The people you meet and the environment.
Everyone is welcoming. Everyone is welcoming. Yeah. And if you don't approach, no one is giving you the vibe. But if you really approach, you know what it's about. You know what ICANN is about and what their policies are about. So I think it's a nice experience I had.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Maud, was that your first, and how was the meeting for you?
This was my second in-person ICANN meeting. Okay. And ICANN in person is really interesting. You know, we've been joining virtually for a while. So it's exciting. Normally you end up putting faces to the people you see, especially on the emails and in meetings. And it's a different feeling. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you. Frank.
Yes, so thank you for the question. This was actually not my first ICANN meeting. I had attended virtually for almost 3 or 4 ICANN meetings and counting, but this was my first in-person meeting. And I'll say it's the vibe is much different from the online meeting, and I'll just hope that everyone would get to experience the in-person meeting at least once in a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen.
Yes. So
yes, please go ahead.
My first in-person meeting, in 2020, having mixed a previous fellowship, which I had issue with, had visa issues. Going through this, like this current, the ICANN80 was something I was looking forward to.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
What about yeah.
Okay. Sule.
Hi. So I joined virtually, but the AEO was presented by our director of ICT, Madam Nudumon Delamini, who was there physically for this ICANN80 event in Kigali.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we've been hearing about ICANN, and most of you have already used some acronyms, CCNSO, ELAC, and the rest. Can you briefly take us through some of these acronyms so that the participants don't get lost? And ICANN, we've been hearing ICANN. Are we saying I can do something? What exactly are we talking about? Let's start with Madam Maud. What is this the acronyms that you have used? I hope you are not trying to confuse the participants. If not, get us a brief understanding on some of these acronyms that you have used.
Okay, ICANN is Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers. So that is the full name for ICANN. And I think we also have an acronym where we use the word ALAC or ELAC. That's the At-Large Advisory Committee. That's the committee that has members from all the regional structures. Yeah, the regional ALSs. Okay, the RALOs. So they have reps there. So meaning that these are the executive bodies that end up managing the global at-large structures. I'm sure we've also mentioned something like supporting organization, that is the SOs. And then we have the advisory committees, which we normally call the ACs, at least after some.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Virtuous, can you explain some of the acronyms to us?
Okay. So with some of the acronyms I learned was the AFRALO. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay, so I heard AFRALO, which is the African at large stakeholder, which is in the African region and helps in naming in Africa, in the African region. Let's say in the African region. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Virtuous. Frank.
Yes. So as we talked about ICANN, I talked about AFRENIC, and AFRENIC is African Network Information Center, which is the Registry for Africa. And also, I was part of the NCUC meeting, so NCUC meeting, so and NCSG. So the NCSG actually stands for Non-Commercial Stakeholders Group, and it's a parent body to the NCUC, and the NCUC is the Non-Commercial Users Constituency, and also NCUC, that is the not-for-profit organization constituency. So that are some of the few acronyms in ICANN.
Okay, thank you very much. Benedict, which acronym will you want to share?
Yeah, thank you very much, Raymond. I think the first one will be the CCNSO. That is the country code name supporting organization, which is also part of the supporting organizations, like Madam Maud said. And then we have the CCTLD, which is the country code top level domain names. And then we have the TLDs, which is the top level domain names like the .coms and then the rest. And then I think we have used the word interchangeably, IP and Internet Protocol. So IP basically means Internet Protocol, and then the DNSSEC, which is basically the domain name security extension, which is the additional security for the DNS, which give additional security for the DNS. So we have the DNS as well, which is also domain name systems. And then we have the GAC. GAC is the Governmental Advisory Committee, which is also a committee under ICANN. That's basically made up of governmental organizations around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sule, you also confused us with a lot of acronyms. What are some of these acronyms and their meanings?
Okay, so I'll mention 4 of them. One will be the UA, which is the Universal Acceptance, which Mr. Raymond happened to be a vice chair to the UASG, Universal Acceptance Steering Group Committee. Then there's AGM, which stands for Annual General Meeting, and there's a ASO, Address Supporting Organization. They review and develop recommendations to advise the ICANN board. Then there's a AFTLD, African Top Level Domain Organization. They provide a forum for members to discuss policy matters affecting country code top level domain registries in their region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as a reminder, this section is being jointly organized by the AAU, EGIGFA, the Ghana Domain Name Registry, and Internet Society Ghana. So if you have questions, please note down your questions and we'll come to you to ask your questions when we finish the various questions that we have here. Now, how are the ICANN meetings organized? We are talking of ICANN80. So now let's focus on ICANN80. How are the sections organized? Are there some activities to be done before the meeting and during the meetings? How are the ICANN meetings mostly organized? Madam Maud, let's start with you.
All right. Thank you very much. As a fellow, I attended ICANN80 as a fellow. Normally, what we do before ICANN80, about 2 months before, we meet our mentors to have presentations. We meet our other colleagues. We are assigned to mentors. About 5 or 6 persons are assigned to one mentor who is always available to answer whatever questions that we have. But for ICANN80, what we did was we had specific areas we wanted more clarifications on. And when we did that, ICANN decided to bring some of the board members and some of the workers to come and explain some of these activities to us, like the PDP, how it is done and how it can be practicalized for us to understand properly. So that's how we handle that. And a week to ICANN itself, we have prep week, where we also go through some, aspects of ICANN before the meeting. And I'm sure the rest also have other things to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Frank, talking of prep week, how is it organized?
Okay, thank you for the question. So online, and the main reason for the prep is to get to know the task during ICANN and elaborate on some of the issues. So the prep week is every time organized earlier prior to the ICANN meetings, so that you get to understand the topics that will be discussed and you prepare for it, and anyone can join so that you get to know about what.
Okay, thank you very much. Stephen, the ICANN meetings, how is it organized? Thank you, Frank. Stephen, how are the ICANN meetings? What do you have to add to how the ICANN meetings are organized? Yes.
Okay, so since ICANN comes in, we have the advisory committee and the support organization. So each group organizes its own meeting. So most times you look at your interest. So it is based on your interest that will determine like a meeting that you attend. Because most of these meetings are organized at the same time, right? So it's impossible to attend all ICANN meetings, like all sessions. Then you that way. You can't attend all the sessions. So you select the ones that you know. And prior to the meeting itself, they release the sessions for you to select the session that you want to attend. Currently, there's a tool that they use, schedule that you select your schedules, the session that you want to attend. So after selecting the sessions, it comes with the room number. If you are joining virtually, they share the link a few minutes to the session that you can join virtual.
Okay, thank you very much. Emmanuel, what do you have to add to how the ICANN meetings are organized?
Okay, so the ICANN meetings are organized with a shared app, as Mr. Steven said. So we are all given maximum time to select our meetings you want to do. But as a NextGen, since we had days to do presentations and stuff, we weren't much involved in most meetings. But if you want to join a meeting, you should make sure it's not meeting to the day you'll be having your presentations. But if not that, then you can join any meeting which you want to join.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now, so most of you attended the ICANN meetings in person. So we want to know, in what capacity did you attend those meetings? And what were some of the supports that were given to you to make your attendance possible? So what capacity you attended the meeting, and what support that was provided to you to attend those meetings? So let's start with Benedict.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lemon, once again. Yeah, as you said, ICANN meetings are made up of different constituencies or different groups and different interests and different focuses. So I attended as a registry, .gh registry rep, and then also being part of the delegations from the Ghana Dominion Registry. So what we basically do, when we go to ICANN meetings, we are not sponsored. We basically get the funding support from our organization, which is the Ghana Dominion Registry, and then we attend. And then most of the time, our focus are also on the policy and then the domain side of activities, that's the country code domain side of activities. So we don't basically get, we get like in the notes, we get our funding from our own fund that we have been able to generate over the period during our activities to attend those programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen, in what capacity did you attend the ICANN meeting, and what support was provided for you? Okay, whilst waiting for Stephen, let's get to Madam Maud.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so I attended as an ICANN fellow, and as a fellow, you are being provided like your transportation. So they cover, there's more of a scholarship, so they cover your transportation, your accommodation, and also provide a per diem or allowance for you to like have it on you when you want to buy anything there, you use it. So my participation was fully sponsored, I was fully funded. And in the capacity as a fellow, and also I'm a member of the NCUC, and of being a member of ISOC, I was a member of AFRA. So those were the two capacity that I attended, even as a fellow one, and as a member of these organizations.
Okay, so you'll be telling us more about what the fellowship is all about. So talking of fellowship, let's get to Madam Maud. In what capacity did you attend, and what support was provided for you?
Okay, I attended as an ICANN fellow, and I think I represented academia, the technical community, and then civil society as well. As a fellow, your tickets, accommodation, and some stipend are given to you for you to use to take care of yourself when you are there. And I could also continue to talk about the fellowship program, if that is okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
So it looks like the fellowship is really very juicy.
That is why it's competitive. So
okay.
for this fellowship program, Stephen and I were chosen for Ghana. And
let's clap for them.
For that.
Thank you. Then to Virtuous.
So as Mr. Stephen and Madam Maud said, ICANN funded our transports and every capacity they can for us to be present at the meeting. So it was sponsored and funded by ICANN.
Okay. So were you also giving stipend? Because I didn't hear you mention stipend.
So I said, yeah, they give everyone something to put on yourself so that you can manage around there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Sule, I know AAU also represented. In what capacity did they represent, and what role did they play?
Yes, please. Yes. Madame Nodumo Dlamini was invited by the Coalition for Digital Africa. Yes, please.
Okay. And what's the coalition about?
Coalition for Digital Africa. It's more like a subset of an ICANN, like a subset of ICANN, which is centered on running projects in Africa to enhance the digital landscape in Africa. And that CDA project there, that's where the AAU is doing it. Universal Acceptance Project under the Coalition for Digital Africa project. So the ICANN is like a parent's umbrella, and then under it is the Coalition for Digital Africa, yes, through which the EAU is spearheading the Universal Acceptance Readiness Project for its member universities.
Okay, thank you very much. So talking of ICANN meeting, let's now delve into the sections that each of you attended. What was the session about, and what are some of the takeaways for you that the Ghanaian community should be aware of? So what sections did you attend? What is the session about? And what are the takeaways that you can share with the community in attendance? What concerns us? What should we know? So let's hear about that. Who will go first? Sule?
Sorry, I was interrupted. Kindly come again.
So I was asking the sessions that you attended, the takeaways that you made from those sessions, and what is the session about? What should the community that is attending this meeting with us should know about the ICANN meeting, the session that you've attended?
But generally, I've participated in 2 ICANN meetings, more virtually, and then I've joined the Africa Space session. During ICANN78 in Hamburg, I presented on the Universal Acceptance Readiness Project, which the EAU is handling. It's a session in the ICANN meetings where generally they give highlights of activities spearheaded by ICANN in Africa. It's usually hosted by Mr. Yaovi Atuhun, the Director for Stakeholder Engagement in Africa, or Mr. Pierre Danzino. They usually host the Africa Space session to highlight activities that have been run by ICANN in Africa.
Okay, so what was your takeaway from that meeting you attended?
So during those meetings, I presented on the Universal Acceptance Readiness Project. It's just to inform people who are attending what the UA project is about, where it is, and then where it's heading towards.
Okay, thank you. Now to Benedict, you attended in the name of the GNS, the CCTLD registry. What were some of the sessions you attended? What were your engagement? We are really interested in your engagement. What did you go to do there? Since you sent a bunch of delegates, what did you go to do?
Well, we sent a bunch of delegates because some of us have to represent government and some of us also have to take up the technical parts of things. So me, for instance, I attended a DNS workshop to learn about the current trends in the DNS ecosystem. And there was one interesting thing that was coming up during the presentations. That's when it comes to the DNSSEC implementation. Actually, this session was basically focused on Africa.
Okay.
And then the major thing was most of the African countries have not implemented the DNSSEC as part of the requirement for running the registry or even the mobile telephone operators and other MNOs are supposed to run this DNS to provide a security for all the users, all the users of the domain name. And this one, Africa has a very quite a bad record, and it's something that we are really encouraging Africans to look at implementing. If you are a registry, then you really have to make sure that the DNS security is really implemented in your as part of your infrastructure. Unfortunately for us, Ghana, we have not done that. But even though we have not done that, my organization has been able to organize more workshops. So we were able to at least leave the image of Ghana a little higher in terms of we have been able to encourage the mobile network operators to implement DNS on their infrastructure. So last year we had a workshop on that, and that really increased the number from 20% to 70%. So we're there to look at what the response has been and then how we are also doing as a registry. So to us as a registry, we have put plans in place to ensure that when the redelegation or when we finally become the operators of the domain name infrastructure, this DNSSEC will be one of the key things that we will focus on to get implemented. And beside that, we also I also participated in some of the sessions like how CCTLs contribute to a better world. And from there, we get to know the number of CCTLDs like the .g8 who are doing a lot for their country and the community. Basically, when you look at Nigeria and Kenya, they did representation where they've been able to support the community in implementing some of the community-based programs. I think in Nigeria, for instance, have been able to roll most of the schools onto a learning platform, and Kenya too is also doing a similar thing, where they are able to partner with organizations to make sure that all schools have at least an online learning platform that they can use as part of their community support programs. And then they also organize programs and awards night for their registrars, which is really encouraging to know that registries in Ghana, in Africa, to be specific, are doing a lot to help the community. And it gives us a lot of ideas on what we also need to do when we fully become a registry. So all those things were highlighted, yes. And then also from the policy part too, you also, of course, got the opportunity to learn about how ICANN policies work and then the process that you need to follow. And then it was also an eye-opening for some of us who happen to be attending the session for the first time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Virtuous, which session did you attend and what was your main takeaway as a NextGen? And what do you think you need to share with the participants?
Okay, so as a NextGen, we were giving time for preps with our mentors on a presentation we were going to present. It was part of the lookout from the NextGens that we all participate and present on a research topic. So I did my presentation on Tuesday, and it was about the introduction of malware research landscape in the African region.
Aside your own presentation, were you allowed to participate in other sessions?
Yeah.
So we're interested in the other sessions first. They will come to your own.
Okay. So I joined the Wiki Editathon, which Steve was part of the board. I joined the DNSSEC and security workshop. I joined AFALU, the main AFALU meetings, where I saw AFALU members making policies, and I witnessed a lot of positive energy around that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talking of AFALU, Steve, which sessions did you attend? I know you have attended the AFALU sessions. Which other sessions did you attend? And what details do you have to share about the sessions you attend? And the main takeaway, what should we know?
Okay, so basically, as a fellow, they are assigned, they are like sessions that are compulsory for you to attend. But this year, this fellowship, it was a bit relaxed, so we're allowed to choose other sessions based on our interest. So just as I said in my introduction, my interest was mainly on the non-commercial, non-profit parts and stuff related to Africa. So I did attend the NCUC, the membership working session, and also there was an issue forum. And I think I would like to highlight more on the issue forum, which I was very, amused. I was very happy seeing how, people of different background, diverse background, coming together to work and protect the rights and freedom of registrants. Because you realize that registrants, most of the time, apart from the big companies, the commercial entrants, you have smaller companies or smaller organizations, schools and other entities who are also own domain name. And most of the time, their voices are not heard. So the forum issue really brought about that. And there was one issue that really caught my attention, which was about law enforcement agency requesting for data, private data of registrant. So there are instances that we are looking at how can it be regulated. Because if this care isn't taken, issues of human rights and data privacy will be infringed, where they can easily abuse it. Because when you're in a country and the government wants to kind of hurt its citizens, they can easily use that. So that was one topic that really caught my attention. And the discussion is still ongoing, which I believe that all of us can get involved to help regulate and monitor how law enforcement agency access our data. Also, I partake in the ICANN wiki editathon, which is interested, which also being an open advocate, I call upon all of us to get involved and create more articles. You can create more articles on ICANN wiki. And the synonyms and all those terms that you made mention of, when we go to ICANN wiki, they are there. And sometimes even the personality, before you attend an ICANN meeting, some of the faces that we see online, you can easily go to an ICANN wiki and you can read about them. So that when you're approaching the person, at least you've done your background research or you know a bit about the person, it becomes easy. So those are the few stuff I would like to share. Then the last one was universal acceptance. I think I realized that it played a key. It was one of the team that was really spoke of at one of Nafralo's event about multilingual challenges and opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. So come to Frank. So before Frank and Madam Mo,
opportunities. Afro, if Africa, we embrace it and we make universal acceptance of email and domain names and email addresses freely, and it is every email, or no matter the script. I believe we Africans stand to win because there's more opportunities online. And if there are a lot of languages can be accessed online, it means a lot of people too can get online, and it means business and good for us. So that's the little I would like to share.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephen. So we'll be having some of the two attendants to share with us the sessions they attended and what they have learned. So you can raise your hand. Francis, please monitor if we can get 2 people who want to share the sessions they attended and what they have picked from those sessions. So please raise your hand. 2 people. Francis will moderate that side when Frank and Madam Mott finish speaking. So Madam Mott, which sessions did you attend and what should we know as a Ghanaian community?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I attended most of. Personally, I decided to attend almost all of the constituencies, because most of them were telling us or an update of what they have been doing. NCUC held something, membership issues, NPOG also. I mean, as Stephen said, you also have to talk about data protection. But one thing that interested me was getting to understand what AFALO stood for.
Okay.
You get to know that it's a home for the internet user. And if you know, AFALO is for Africa. So a home for the African internet user. So what's the role of AFALO? To also make sure that the members are encouraged, their data are protected, there's privacy, there's advocacy, there's transparency, there's accountability. So you realize that it's a community that we should hold dear and then make sure we do our best to contribute for its development. And if that community if you're all in it, it'd be easy to advocate for even the security and consumer protection of the people, the individual internet users in Africa. So I got that as something that's, encouraged me to be a member of AFALO. At ICANN, I participated in DNS Women's session, which was not part of the main session that was organized by ICANN, where women who were in the ICANN and the DNS space came together. And interestingly, basically all the board members were present. And there at that session, some women, personally, I was also invited to share my experiences, coming up in the tech space. And I was grateful for that. And other people.
Talking about women, DNS women, I thought since ICANN is domain name numbers, women don't like numbers, domain names, and the rest. So how come we have a special session like that?
it's a way of encouraging us. But you know what? The
Tell me.
current board chair, the current board chair is a woman. She's called Tripti Sinha.
Wow.
And even the former interim CEO, yes, Sally Costenson, she's female. And even our rep, Africa, our rep on the board is a female, Catherine.
Yes.
So that tells you that we are going up there.
So let me put you on the spot. What message will you have for women specifically to encourage them to engage? Because we realize that a lot of women are not engaging. So on the spotlight, tell your women fellows something. Is ICANN really about men, and is it something that they can engage in? So tell them something.
ICANN is very open. I think ICANN, it's the body that is really explaining and practicing multi-stakeholderism, whatever name we want to put it.
You got it right.
Yes. So everywhere we go, there's nothing about it being women or men. Everybody is encouraged. But I even feel that they are doing very well at holding the hands of women to go up there. Maybe when you look at the composition of the fellows, the fellows, there were more females than males in ICANN80. So that tells you that they are doing their best. We have to also push hard and engage. And it's a very safe space.
So what's your message for the Ghanaian women community?
Ghana.
Correct. Now speak.
We can all, Ghana, we have the capacity, we have the propensity, we have the resources that can put us out there. When you engage with the people in the community, you realize that you are even more, I wouldn't use the word knowledgeable, but more excited and enlightened in the tech space, even as women. And even when you look at the composition of the people that come in, when we are using regional basis, the women in Africa are doing their best. So for Ghana, I know that if we push just a little bit, we would make sure that we advance in the tech space. And it is possible. Let's do it together.
Women, it is possible. Let's do it together. And as you said, we are ready to hold your hand. Everybody is on board. We want to see you at the top as 50, and the ICANN president and CEO want to see you at the top. Thank you very much, Madam Ward. Frank, what sessions did you attend? Then after Frank, we open the floor for two people to share with us the sessions they have attended and what they are taking away with. Frank, over to you.
Okay, thank you. So before I got the opportunity to be part of NCSG Small Civil Society workshop, and I was the only Ghanaian to be part of it. It was made up of people all over the world, and that was the first time it was being organized. So we actually had the sessions 2 days before ICANN. So we actually got to learn about policy development on the perspective of the non-commercial stakeholders group, and how to actually get involved. And we had a simulation session, and we were given a topic. And during the ICANN program, we got the opportunity to present that topic, which was on singular and plural strengths. That was proposed by Jeff Newman, and we had the board members' attention on our pros and cons and the reasons why we would like some of the rules changed. So I attended the NCUC membership meeting. I also attended the GNSO meeting. So the GNSO is more of a mother body to the NCSG, and that stands for the main supporting organization. So we really had an impact when it came to the ICANN meeting, and I really enjoyed it. So that's a little that I can say about my participation.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Francis. 2 people to share with us what sessions they've attended and what their takeaway was. Who is going to speak? Francis, do you have anybody? Okay, so whilst waiting to see who will speak, we can go ahead. So we have people who participated in the fellowship, in the ICANN meeting as NextGen and in the fellowship program. Now let's talk about the fellowship program. What is the fellowship program is about? So Madam Maud and Stephen, what's the fellowship program about? And what is the process of the application process? What is it about? And what advice will you give to anybody who wants to participate in ICANN as a fellow? Madam Maud, starting with you. Francis, did somebody raise hands before we go to Madam Maud? Okay, Gosway, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Please, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, please. You're loud and clear.
All right, sure. So, please, I'm Gosway Kubi for the record. I got a chance to attend ICANN meeting virtually, and one of the areas that interests me more as a system administrator and a cybersecurity person was the session that focused more on the DNSSEC. So I was happy when Benedict highlighted on that again. DNSSEC being something that at least it's a point of security that validates our responses. I would like that we take up that, and so that is one thing I learned, that it's very important to all systems, and we all need to do that, especially the ISPs. That they need to validate their systems with such security system in order to keep up or keep updated in this security area. So I think that is one thing that interests me more outside the other things I learned as well. And I'll be happy to share that. I'm currently also due to my interest in this field, I got in touch with Yazid, which currently working out with something, and it will soon be out. And I'm happy that Benedict mentioned that. So Benedict, maybe I might reach out to you as well, so we look at something interesting coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that something interesting is for the Ghanaian community.
Oh yeah, sure. It's for Ghana. I'm in Ghana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Madam Maud, please tell us about the ICANN fellowship. What was the application process like? How you were able to successfully go through, and what advice will you give to anyone who will want to apply? After Madam Maud, then we go to Stephen. Okay, so whilst waiting for Madam Maud, Stephen, can you share with us what the fellowship is about?
Okay, so the fellowship program is one of 2 programs that has been organized by ICANN to get sponsor participant to its meetings. So every year ICANN have 3 meetings in a year, and in each of the meetings they do have the fellowship program. So the fellowship programs, we have one that during policy meetings, you need to be a proud fellow, like you need to be a returning fellow. So we have the returning fellows that attend policy meetings. But apart from the policy meetings, with the community meetings and other meetings, for community forum and the other meeting, anyone can apply. So what I can say is, before you apply to the fellowship, at least you need to get yourself involved in the community or in the internet governance ecosystem. I believe I recall it. The NextGen is more of a role where you may not be having any knowledge about the internet ecosystem. You can go through that, but with the fellowship, it is very competitive. So my little advice that if you want to apply for the fellowship, first of all, get involved in the ecosystem. It can be ICANN, we have Internet Society, there's IDF. So anything related to internet governance, the ecosystem, get involved in it. And don't just get involved in it, but participate. Because there are instant people just join mainly, they join group, but they don't participate. because ICANN as an organization is sponsoring you need to come there to learn, so that the multi-stakeholder system that they are running, you can also participate in it. So when you go in there and you are not, there's nothing that shows that you'll be able to participate after the fellowship. Being selected becomes minimal. And also HCR, there's a call for application. So currently there's a call for application for next year meeting. So what you have to do is you go online, you search for the call for application. Most people apply without reading the criteria. So there's a criteria that is being used for selection. So it is good for you to go through the criteria. Points are allocated. Each criteria has a point, so that you can draft your application, taking that into consideration. Also, if you haven't even started, you are new to it, you just joined the call, but you wish to join the fellowship, most times the application takes a month. So within a month, if there's any ICANN course that you would like to take at ICANN Learn, you still have the opportunity to do it. If you know of any fellow that you seek advice from, or anyone in the ecosystem that you want to seek any advice from, you can still approach them and they can assist you and show you, looking at your interest group that you can join. Because the ICANN Learn platform is made in a way that even if you are new to ICANN, there's a course for someone who is new to ICANN, and the course is going to help you go through the process. Then you're able to identify your interest, and based on your interest, you know the constituency that you would like to join, and then you join that constituency and you bid it from there. Because in your application, all those things will be asked. If you have joined any of their meetings, if you have taken any of the courses, why do you even want to join in the first place, and what do you want to do afterwards, after the ICANN fellowship?
Thank you very much, Stephen. Madam Much, there's a question that I would like you to take. Frank, you also are a fellow, so you also take this question. Please, what kind of supporting documents should one submit as a proof of ICANN involvement and engagement when applying for the fellowship? So, Madam Much, this question is for you. And Stephen and Frank, what are these supporting documents and the proof? So how does somebody prove that they have been engaging in the ecosystem? Starting with Madam Much.
Okay, thank you very much. One interesting thing about ICANN, they keep records of our meetings. So we call it we have something we call the ICANN Wiki. We have all the records, so you could see that your attendance is recorded. All the meetings that you participated in are all recorded. Your engagement, whether it's webinar, whether you're a member of a specific committee, if you're a pen holder, listen, immediately your name is searched, you would see all the activities you've been undertaking in ICANN. And that is proof of evidence that you've been involved. And it's not just about meetings. You should also be involved in other things, in webinars, in advocacy, there are so many things they do. We want to encourage that you should be involved in all these things. You should support in editing documents. It's important to do these things. Personally, I think that has been my strength most of the time. Anytime, documents come up and they said people should take a look at them and offer their comments and all that. I take time to offer my input, do all the corrections, and make sure that the document that we are taking out there is very good. So everybody and their strengths, and then make sure that you are involved. So these are the things. So when you're applying, you need to also show evidence. So what you do is that you need to state specific meetings you attended, specific dates, and then you need to have the screenshot of the places where your names are appearing in the attendance sheet. So you see, if you've not been attending, definitely you will not have anything to show. But if you've been attending and been engaged in the community, there's nothing to worry yourself about. So be engaged. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Frank, with concern to how to keep records of engagement and what document to submit and how to be successful in the ICANN fellowship application, what advice do you have?
Okay, so my advice is you should keep a record of every meeting. So before you start the meeting, you can just copy the information of the meeting somewhere on maybe a document or in your email, or maybe a note on your mail. Then you should take a screenshot when you are in the meeting, because you can upload that also. And also, we can also upload for proof of membership. You can upload your membership email, the first email they sent you as a member, your confirmation email. That's important. And sometimes the emails that you are sent, you can also screenshot it or save it as PDF and upload it during your process. So that's one thing you must remember. So you keep records of every webinar that you join. That's very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel, are you there? So yeah, back to Emmanuel. The NextGen, what's the application process like? And what will make someone successful as a NextGen?
Okay, so as a NextGen, you should be in this following criteria, as you should be in the ages of 18 years to 30 years. You should be a student, either pursuing your doctorate, undergraduate, or a postgraduate. And you the meeting, if you want to be a NextGen and joining the meeting in person, you should wait for the meeting should be in your region that you can apply as a NextGen who wants to participate in the meeting. So you can join as a NextGen though, but if you want to visit, if you want to be, as I went as a member, as a NextGen in Ghana, when I noticed that it was going to happen in the region of Africa, then I applied as a NextGen so that I can be a witness. So I witnessed as a NextGen, and I had to be endorsed by my HOD to verify that I'm a student of Valley View University, that I can apply. So in the application process, I had to verify that I'm a student and letting them know I'm a student by letting my HOD endorse my letter for me. In the application process, you are allowed to, you'll be aware, you'll be informed, you'll be pre-informed that as a NextGen you'll be presenting if you are being selected. So you should be prepared that when you are selected as a NextGen, there is a presentation or there's a research presentation you have to perform. And in course of that, I was being selected and I presented on my presentation when I got to there, and I had some experiences with how ICANN is all about. I was taught in how to communicate with other people on the ICANN platform. That's the ICANN80. There's a link about ICANN80 where you can take some courses to know more about ICANN. So in ICANN organization platform, the website, there's another website or web page in the website that will help you go through certain things, certain studies or certain lessons before being able to know what ICANN is really about. So you have to go through all that processes before you can get to the opportunity to be a NextGen.
Okay. And what was your presentation? How was it received when you presented?
So as the first, I don't know if there was any previous Ghanaian. So I think I was the first Ghanaian to be part of this meeting, and among other countries. I think we were 12. We were 12 in number.
How many people applied? Do you have any idea?
I presented on the second. I didn't have any idea. I didn't have any idea that I was only Ghanaian, because when I applied, I thought maybe we had more Ghanaians applying for. But fortunately, I was the only Ghanaian who presented that day. And there were 5 Beninois, 2 Kenyans, and I think 1 Chad. We were in total of 12. And my presentation was taken quite warm because it was my first presentation and I was fumbling a bit on the screen. It was my first presentation, so I would say it was a bit rough for me, but I sincerely went through well. I sailed through well, and I think I'm learning from what I did out there. So I'll be stepping up. From it, and I'll encourage everyone to get the opportunity to learn from ICANN, and it's the best choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Emmanuel said there were 12, and out of these 12, 5 were from Benin. That's about 40% or even more, 45%, representing Benin alone in the NextGen. This is a very much clarion call for us as Ghanaians to beef up with our engagement in the ecosystem. If one country can produce 5 NextGeners, then I'm sure we as Ghanaians, we can present about 5 ICANN fellows out of 40. If they can make it 5 out of 12, which is 45%, and if we are doing 4 out of 40, that is 10%, just 10%. Can't we do it as Ghanaians? Let's put in very good applications and make Ghana proud with our engagement in ICANN. Now to Benedict, the GDNR is what the registry for Ghana. What are some of your operations that we should know about? What should we know about the GDNR?
Okay, I believe you can hear me now. My mic was muted. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, as a registry, let me start by saying that Ghana domain name by our local act is mandated to manage the .ga domain name space. But as we are speaking, we are undergoing a process called the delegation or the transfer of management. To those of you who have been in ICANN on several cases, know what the transfer really means. So we are not fully operational yet, so we are going through that process. But notwithstanding, there has been a number of activities that we also do.
If you are not well operational, does it mean that .gh is not working well?
No, the .gh is working. We work with the current manager, which is the Ghana.com, to make sure that the operations and the system are always up and available to the general community as we are still undergoing the process. But if I say we are not fully operational, what I'm trying to say is, as a registry, there are key activities, and one of the key activities that a registry must undertake is the policy development, like the domain name registration policy development. And in Ghana, as of today, there has not been any, not even a single policy on domain name registration. So rolling out when we fully become operational. And not that you are just going to turn out policies to the community. These policies are community-based. So we have the local internet community that we have set up. And I believe some of you on this call are members of the local internet community. And we are still admitting more people to be part of it because as ICANN preaches, every domain or the internet activity should be a multi-stakeholder approach. So we try as much as possible to get everybody on board. So those of you who are part of an institution or have interest in domain name policies or have interest in internet activities and want to be part of these LICs, we have Sagoe and Mensah on the call, so you can drop your contact there, and then they will do a follow-up to see how best they can also get you in. And besides the engagement, we also do capacity building because, like we say, when it comes to...
But before you come to that, what does it take to get a Ghana domain, to register a GDH domain? And how much does it cost? What are the process? We are interested in that. So when we all live here, and why should somebody have .gh?
Well, that is basically a whole presentation on its own. But I will try as much as possible to
in 1 minute.
All these things in 1 minute or more. Yeah, to have a .gh domain name is quite important because we are in a space that basically an internet space, you don't know who you are talking to. I don't know who is behind it. And if you have got it to a point that we don't just have to leave the internet as it is for it to operate, like what we experienced last time when there was an internet, was a cable cut and we're having domain name system. And then we are having a good local content, or we are hosting our content locally. Whatever happened upstream shouldn't have affected us that much, but we're really affected. So to go to why you should have a .gh domain name, I think the first thing is the local relevance. If you have .gh, then you are telling your local people that you have a strong presence and a commitment to the country, because you can't say people don't know who a .com is, but when you go to .com.gh, people really know that this person or this product is coming from Ghana. And they also give you a search engine optimization advantage, because like Google and other search engines, what they do is what we call the geofencing or geo-targeting. When you do a search, they first look at the content within your jurisdiction or your local presence. So if you're in Ghana and you're searching for maybe where to buy kente, the first thing is we look at the local domain names like the .gh, and then the companies there who have a content about kente or who sell kente. So if you are on the .com and that person is on the .gh, that person who's on the .com.gh automatically rank higher than the person who's on the .com. And for you to even be ranked higher, if you are on the .com, you have to invest more, or you have to put more into advertising and search. You have to employ somebody to tune your search engine for all those things, optimization for you. And then we could talk about the local and policy compliance. When Stephen was talking, he was talking about the WHOIS database and how somebody can get you and all those things. We have local policies and then we have the normal internet policies. Countries take policies that benefits the local people. Like today, if you go and do WHOIS for a company on .com, I don't think it's likely you get any information about the person, so you don't have any idea who you are dealing with. But as we speak today, if you do a WHOIS search on a .com.gh, it's likely you get the records of the person or whoever you are dealing with or the company you are dealing with, which gives you some level of trust to say that, oh, I'm dealing with a legitimate company that I can easily go to, or when you have an issue, we can easily be resolved locally for you. And
talking about costs, how affordable is it? And can anybody just get up a registered domain? Let's cover these two.
Yeah.
The cost involved, and what if somebody who is based in Togo register.gh?
Yeah, at the moment, I just want to remind all of us again. At the moment, we don't have a strict policy on eligibility to register a domain. But what we have now, as from the Ghana.com, the current operators of the .gh, you must be for you to buy a domain, the first thing is your domain name administrator or the person who will handle your domain name for you or your website. If I put it the website, but it's not actually the website, the domain content must be located in Ghana. And then your company registration, you also have your company registration at hand, so that anytime we call for it, you have it available. And then we also encourage that your primary DNS should be located in Ghana, because we are trying to build our digital space. But that requirement is not strictly, it's not a strict requirement to have your primary DNS in Ghana, but it's something we encourage. And then the domain name should be more than 3 characters, which means you can't register something like abc.com.gh. Even if you can register it, you have to go to another process altogether, which will take us another time. So for you to register a domain, the domain name must be 4 characters or more. cuckoo.com.gh is accepted. myworld.com.gh is accepted. So far as it's more than 3 characters, you can register it. And then the domain names
talking of registration, how do we register? Who are the registries, the registrars that we can walk up to and do the registration?
Yeah, at the moment, we have only one company that you can register the domain with, and that is Ghana.com. And for you to register for the .com.ga domain names, you first have to visit Ghana.com website, and then there's a section for registration. So when you register, it goes through an approval process just to make sure that you meet all the eligibility requirements I earlier stated. And then you made a payment of $48. And then in Ghana, cedis equivalent. Or if I Ghanaian, you pay, I don't know, I've not checked the figure as of today, so pardon me. You pay about 568 Ghana cedis for a domain. Okay. If you are a Ghanaian.
Okay.
Yes, and then the domain is activated based on upon review and then approval.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you. So Sule, we know AAU is headquartered in Ghana. What has AAU got to do with domains or internet governance? Why is AAU engaged in internet governance activities, and what are you doing as a Ghanaian-based entity?
So the Association of African Universities is headquartered in Accra, Ghana. We have 421 member universities all across Africa. AAU's vision is to be the leading advocate for higher education in Africa, with the capacity to provide support for its member institutions in meeting national, continental, and global needs. And we all agree that internet is a national, and continental, and global need for everyone. The AAU is currently working with ICANN under the Coalition for Digital Africa banner on the universal acceptance and universal acceptance readiness in academic institutions project. So basically what this project seeks to do is that we want to increase the number of higher education institutions in Africa that are UA ready to at least 200 by June 2025. When we say an institution is UA ready, it means that you can contact them using non-ASCII characters. You can go to their contact us page and then send them a message either in Arabic or maybe Akan or Ewe or in any other non-ASCII character. The project has 4 objectives. The first objective is to evaluate the readiness of our member institutions. The second is to create awareness of and develop capacity for UA within academic institutions. We've been doing this by having technical workshops. So far, we've had 3 workshops. The first in Accra, second in Namibia, and the third in Rabat, Morocco. In creating awareness, we also hosted the Universal Acceptance Day last year at the AAU headquarters. This year, we partnered EGIGFA, which won the bid to observe the UA Day this year. It's held every 28th of March. The third objective is to offer information to higher education institutions to incorporate universal acceptance and internationalized domain names into their academic curricula. So basically, we are encouraging our member universities to add UA, universal acceptance, into their academic curricula. What this means is that maybe a final year computer science or information technology students will be taken through a course on universal acceptance. This way, whilst in school, you know what UA is, you know how the configurations are done. When you graduate and you go to the job market, you are abreast with the skill already to implement UA on your maybe company systems or whether it's the email or website system. So basically, that's what the AAU is doing with ICANN on the Universal Acceptance Readiness Project. We've also served as local host for the African Engagement Forum. Coincidentally, today is 1 year exactly. It was July 25th last year to July 27th. It was held at Marriott Hotel, yes. We served as local host for that engagement forum, which was the second edition. The first edition was done virtually due to COVID. The second one was done in Accra, Ghana, where AAU served as local host. There were workshops that were held before the actual forum. And then on the day of the forum, meetings were held, discussions, networkings, and all. So basically, AAU serves as a local, for now, we kind of serve as a local host for ICANN whenever there are events. And then another aspect of it is our UA projects we are handling with ICANN for our member universities.
Okay. Thank you very much. That tells us that we have very good engagement from the Ghanaian community that is really building the ICANN to continue to be one world, one internet. Now we open the floor for questions, and if anybody has any question, you can raise their hands. We have 15 more minutes to end the section. So time for questions and contributions from the participants. Yes, Abdul, please go ahead. You have 1 second.
Oh, good evening, everyone. This is Abdul, Ghana 2024 fellow, right? It's actually nice being part of this webinar and then listening to speeches from past ICANN fellows and sharing their experiences. A quick question I want to ask is on joining the Ghana Internet Society, that is the ISOC. I've applied for it since a last day to our training in Accra, and up to now, I have not received any mail. So I want to ask, what criteria or how long does it take when you apply to be a member of it? How long does it take, and are there special criteria that one needs to meet before you have been accepted?
Okay. Maud.
Okay, thank you. We do some few background checks, but it's not really very strict. We would do our best to go through your application, and then God willing, next week you will hear from us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John.
Okay, any more questions? Yes, Lavish.
Yeah, thank you, Raymond and fellows and NextGen. I just want to be clear with Benedict's point on, if I heard him right, he mentioned that there was no clear policy or requirement in getting a domain. I just want to find out what has been done so far and the way forward. Yeah, thank you. That is if I heard it right. Thank you.
Okay, Benedict.
Yeah, when I say there's not been clear policy, I'm talking from the point of view of Ghana Domain Name Registry, in the sense that the CCTLD point of view or requirement, there should be a number of policy that should be available for every domain, every CCTLD for people to be able to participate or be able to register. And one key factor is the domain name registration policy. We have the domain name pricing policy and other policies. So if I say there has not been a clearly defined policy, I'm not trying to say that you don't have a policy now. The current manager has a policy, but there are other items that need to be added on. And we as a registry, we also believe in the multi-stakeholder approach of policy implementation or policy adoring a policy. So we have a number of policies, but before the policies can become a full policy, one, we need to be fully operational. Two, we must have a community buy-in. So what we have now, we have a standing policy, all right, but it's not policy that you have gone through with the community. So if I say not clearly defined, I'm talking from the point of view of Ghana Domain Name Registry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lavis, I hope that is well answered.
Yes, it's answered. Thank you so much. But I also have another question. It looks like all your panelists are talking in light of technical. Though you brought up one question about a layman. I want to know how, for some people who are not so techy, can also get engaged. As you clearly can see, almost all your panelists are all IT gurus to some extent. So how will some of us who are not technical in any way also be up there or forefront? Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to take it first?
Okay, I would like to take it. So let's correct it. So we are not IT gurus. The first one, me personally, I'm not an IT guru. I'm an end user, right? So when you look at the stakeholder system that ICANN uses, the Atlas structure is for we the end user. As you are using the internet, you are an end user and you have a space, your voice needs to be heard. But I don't know if everything is done, you have an internet and you don't have people to use it. What's the essence of it? Right? So you don't need to be a tech person, or you should be able to code or be able to be an network engineer before you can get into the space. If you love policy, if you can read good English, just as Madam said, you can look at the policies and advise on it. You have a legal background. Our vice president of EGIGFA is having a legal background, and she's in the space with that, because these are legal terms. When it comes to intellectual properties and stuff, you need legal brains to help with that. So wherever space you find yourself, as long as you are using the internet, as long as the internet is part of you and there's a space and there's an opportunity for you to participate in the ecosystem. So you don't necessarily need to be a tech person. But the advantage is that when you get into it, you start learning and you start gaining those tech skills, and you start understanding certain technical terms. ISOC has a lot of courses available. I can have courses that you learn, and you don't become a professional, but you have the layman understanding of some of these technical things. And wherever you find yourself, if you engage someone to even do a work for you, because of that knowledge gain in this space, you're able to assess the work and know if the person did it well or not.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Anyone want to add to that?
Yes, let me add a little to it.
Okay.
ICANN, or the domain name industry, is not basically a technical people, because you can say I'm a technical person, all right, but until my recent, I get engaged with ICANN, I didn't know some of these policy things. So some of us have to go back to even learn about policies, even read books about public policy and all those things, to be able to get to a level that we are also able to participate in policy discussions. So you don't necessarily have to be a technical person, but if you have a technical person, there are some things it's easier for you to understand. The same way you can also look at it as an end user, or as a person who has the internet at heart, or maybe you believe that the internet should be free. So your focus is on internet being free. So you focus on that, and you are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and I would like to add up something. Getting involved in internet policy, you don't have to have any specific skills, because there is divisions for everyone, whether you're in the government, whether you're in business, whether you're an end user, whether you're a registrar, whether you're a registry, and whether any aspect at all you can join, because there are positions or places where you can actually make your voice heard and contribute towards a better end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are behind time. So what is your last message to the participants, and what encouragement will you give to them to engage in the ecosystem? We start with Madam Hodge, your last word and your encouragement to participants to engage in the ecosystem to make Ghana proud. We want to see Ghana at the top.
Thank you very much. Everybody, you want to participate, you need to start from somewhere. And the first thing I would encourage all of us to do is to start with ICANN. You'll be amazed the very interesting courses that have been made available. Same with the platform for ISOC for us to learn. It broadens our horizon. I'm telling you, one of the courses that I saw there that really made my day was the one that teaches us how to manage meetings, how to make sure that
Okay, Madam Maud, I think we've gotten your last word very well and clear. Benedict, what's your last word? 1 second.
Thank you. My last word Okay.
And your last encouragement to the community to engage.
Yeah, okay. I think the first item is that we have to, as a people who have been to ICANN or who have been part of policy development and all those things, we need to make sure that we also encourage awareness, or we increase awareness, so other people will also get to understand what we do and then come on board. And then we should build a strong collaboration. I'm happy we're having this session because this is the first time we've been to ICANN or any other international event, and we've come to share this collective knowledge. And really something that we should be able to encourage, so that going forward, when we go to such meetings, we all have our focus areas and we can participate well.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And then as a members of the community, I always say that we should always encourage best practices. And when I say best practices, what I'm trying to say is the DNSSEC has come to stay. And if we also are able to encourage the MNOs, which is the mobile network operator, able to implement DNSSEC on their all those things, it will become easy for us to work as well. And the same also goes to the registries or the CCTLDs. So we have to be always be sure that they are up to whatever you need to do, and then we have a strong environment. And then also support policy development locally and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Frank, 30 seconds. We have only 2 minutes.
I think Glenn has a question. One of my mentors. I hope you've seen it. What I can say is it's exciting to get involved in internet governance. You get to work with people around the world. You get to network and actually make connections that are very meaningful to your space and to help contribute to the internet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen, 30 seconds.
Okay, so what the leader I have to say is ICANN is open, the internet governance ecosystem is open. I call upon all the at-large structures here in Ghana, ISOC Ghana and EGIGFA to do more. We should do our best to get more people involved in the ecosystem, because if Benny was able to get 5 NextGeners, it means they are doing something right, which as Ghanaians we can also do. So let's do more mentorship. Let's get more people involved. You can join ICANN. You can go to ICANN Learn. But when you start from the local level, when you participate in local initiative, the support system is there, and you're able to grow. And at the end of the day, before you get to the bigger stage, you get that much experience that will make it easier. So the advanced structures to do more, get more people involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Virtuous, 30 seconds. Your last word.
I would like to be the only NextGener, so I'll be liking other colleagues to join me, be a NextGen, so that we can share ideas and thoughts, so that we can make Ghana proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this session has been organized jointly by EGIGFA, ISOC Ghana, AAU, and the GDNR. Until we meet again for another session of ICANN Readout, it is a goodbye from me and from all the
Raymond.
Thank you very much.
Raymond. Hello, Raymond.
Yeah.
Can I make a small announcement?
Okay, we have 29 seconds.
Okay. Ghana GDNR is organizing the DNS workshop. With the first 2 days will be for basic, and then the next 2 is for advanced. Letters have been sent to organizations, so please, you should talk to your organizational heads if they receive such letters to participate in the DNS training from 11th to 14th August. Thank you.
Thank you, and good night to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.